All right, guys, welcome back to the Drew 11 channel. And this is going to be our first ever 11 questions with Drew 11. And joining me today is BYU women's soccer star forward Ellie Walbruch, who's just been on an absolute tear this past week. Very warm welcome to you, and thanks so much for taking the time to hop on today.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. I'm excited to be here. I love supporting a local Manchester United fan, so I'm pumped.
Before we get to the big main event that happened last week, I want to start by taking things back a little bit to your early journey as a collegiate player. So Ellie, you won a national championship as a freshman at UCLA back in 2022, right?
Yeah.
So now that you just led BYU to a Big 12 championship as the number 8 seed and walked
Mhm.
away as the tournament's most outstanding offensive player, which basically is the MVP, right? So what did that UCLA title experience teach you about winning on the biggest stages and bringing that edge into this BYU run?
Yeah. For sure. I mean, winning a national championship as a freshman at the prestigious university UCLA was such a huge moment for me. I feel like every little girl's dream is to win a national championship, like going into college. Like that was my main goal. So to be able to do that my freshman year was pretty cool. So I think it just showed me what it takes to win at the highest level. The discipline, the teamwork, the preparation, and the trust that you have to have between your teammates was huge. I feel like experiencing that so early on in my college career really helped me understand that winning isn't just about talent. It's about work ethic, how hard you work off the field, and kind of how hard practice is. And I feel like bringing that experience to BYU this last couple weeks, obviously winning the Big 12, I wanted to carry kind of that same championship mentality and push my teammates to remind them that the mindset is everything, to work hard. And I think you just have to believe in the group and play fearless. And that's what we did the last couple weeks.
That's awesome. So it seems like, getting the taste of victory early on that really set the standard for you for the rest of your collegiate career. And, you know, that's amazing to have those types of experience early on and then carry that into a new experience. So those are awesome, Ellie. But
Yeah, for sure.
when you transferred from UCLA to BYU, like what was the decision making behind that? Was it like family, culture, being in a familiar place, or a new challenge?
Yeah, I feel like when I transferred from UCLA to BYU, it wasn't an easy decision. I feel like UCLA was an incredible experience. I mean, some of my best friends are still there, and I played with a bunch of girls that I learned a lot from. So, I feel like when I was there, something inside me was missing a little bit. I loved soccer, but I just wanted to be somewhere that kind of aligned more with who I am and what matters most to me, and being home and being close to my family, and kind of playing for something bigger than myself was a big thing. So I just remember praying about it. And funny story, I just prayed about it and I was asking God for a sign. I need some type of sign to be like, okay, Ellie, I need a transfer. And we were in the championship game and going over scout, which is you're going over the team, what their weight strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I remember just watching film and it was all about BYU. BYU this, BYU that, and we were playing UNC. So I'm like, what's going on? So I kind of took that as my sign that I needed to be back at BYU, and BYU is a place for me, and that it was time to come home eventually. So it was one of those moments that I just felt like it was right. Like everything was falling into place for me. And I just feel like looking back now, like after everything that's happened with my ACL and just being surrounded by such amazing girls and winning a Big 12 championship, I can honestly say like it's probably the best decision I've ever made. And I'm just so lucky to be here and to represent BYU.
That's awesome, Ellie. Yeah, it really seems that everything really came into place in the first 3 years being back. So well done. But were there like any challenges like adapting to a new culture or a new system going from the Pac-12 as it was known back then to now BYU competing in one of the toughest and biggest conferences in college in women's college soccer?
Honestly, I feel like when I transferred and came back to BYU, I didn't really feel like there was a challenge. It felt like home, like stepping into a place that I've kind of missed. I feel like I already knew a lot of the girls from club or from, growing up in the Utah bubble. Most girls are from Utah that go to BYU. So I feel like there was just an instant sense of comfort there. And I feel like everyone welcomed me with such open arms and felt like I just could be myself right away, which is an easy transition for me. So I feel like that just made it super easy for me to play freely and just come in and make an immediate impact. And I feel like I really looked up to the seniors that were there that first year I got here. Those were the girls that I looked up to since I was a young girl. Being at LaRocca, there was a bunch of LaRocca girls that I looked up to who were seniors. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like it was an easy, very easy, smooth transition. So I feel like I learned so much from watching those older girls and how they led and how they played. Um, yeah, it was super easy for me, and I loved stepping into a great environment that pushed me right from the beginning.
That's awesome. And it's looking like you're going to be one of the BYU seniors or legends that people are going to look up to now for future generations for sure with what you're writing right now in BYU
Yeah.
folklore. But talking about BYU, they're known to be one of the best teams in women's college soccer. But for this season, it was very unique for you guys, starting off pretty hot and then, having ups and downs and then seem to be letting go of the steam in the regular season. But when the tournament came, BYU wasn't expecting to win it as a number 8 seed, but you guys managed to knock off the top seeded teams, TCU, Baylor, and Kansas. So that's just generational. What was your guys' team's like plan or even the mindset going into the tournament and each match? Like, do you feel like that underdog label fueled the fire in that group?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like going into the Big 12 tournament as the 8 seed, I mean, we were fighting for a position to even get into the tournament a few weeks before. So I feel like that wasn't like us. But yeah, going into the tournament as the 8 seed, we all knew people were kind of doubting us. But instead of letting that kind of bother us, we used it as motivation. So I think that's the mindset thing. We just wanted to prove that the rankings didn't define us. Obviously, we didn't have the Big 12 regular season that we wanted or hoped for, but the underdog mentality really gave us energy, and we knew that if we kept believing in ourselves and our process, that we could beat anyone, and if we stuck together and kind of just bonded over our bond, and it just kept growing stronger after every win. So after that TCU win, I think we really like, dang, we're a good team and we can beat anyone. So by the end, we weren't playing to prove people wrong anymore. I feel like we were just playing because we truly believed in what we were capable of as a team. And I feel like the goal at the beginning of season was to win the Big 12 tournament. So it was just a goal we kind of checked off, and just we were pumped to be able to do it, especially as that underdog.
Yeah, that's crazy scenes to happen. You rarely see the lowest team win a tournament like that. It's like
Yeah,
March
for
Madness in
sure.
women's soccer. So,
I know, and they were ranked, like all three of those teams were ranked in the top 25. So three
yeah,
top 25 wins in a week is pretty unheard of.
yeah, exactly. And Kansas, their RPI was like super high, so that was even a more impressive final win
For
to have.
sure. For sure.
Congratulations on that. Um, Transitioning to the next question, you've grown from being one of the youngest players at UCLA to being right now a leader at BYU, and now, you're a championship winner and a most outstanding offensive player in the Big 12. So, how has that leadership evolved, especially during this generational tournament run where every game felt like a must win for you guys?
Yeah, I've definitely grown as a leader since coming to BYU. I think at BYU and UCLA, I had the opportunity to learn from a lot of players that were older than me and that were such incredible leaders. So here I've had the chance to step into that kind of leadership role myself, being a captain, being an upperclassman, has been huge. And I feel like I learned a lot about myself when I had my ACL injury, that I can be a leader off the field, which I feel like has really came into play, being on the field, being that type of leader as well. So I feel like especially during the Big 12 run, I wanted to just be someone my teammates could kind of lean on, to bring that kind of energy and calmness, and just give the team belief that when things get tense, we can still do it and we can believe in ourselves. So every game felt kind of like a must win in that Big 12 tournament and also in regular season. So I just thought that pressure would bring out the best of us, and it did. So my goal is just to keep everyone connected and focused and keep that belief that if we trust in our preparation, then good things would happen. And that's kind of what happened. So, yeah, I feel like
Yeah, it
I've grown a
clearly
lot
worked.
yeah, for sure. I've grown a lot as a leader, and I just continuing wanting to learn how to be better as a leader too. So I've got some time to keep working at that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Athletes like you at BYU, they often talk about faith at the center of everything that they do. And during this tournament run, during, tight matches, big moments, and even the pressure building on you guys, how did your faith and personal values keep you grounded and focused on what was ahead?
Yeah, faith is such a big part of who I am and how I approach everything in life, I think. So I feel like during this Big 12 run, there were so many moments where things could have gone differently, but instead of like putting pressure on myself, just leading in my faith, and that really helped me stay grounded and stay confident in those big moments. So it just reminded me that everything happens for a reason and that God's plan is always bigger than my own. So having that perspective kind of helped me handle those highs and lows in the season and in the Big 12 tournament. So it just helped me kind of keep a bigger picture beyond soccer. But God's been a big part of my journey. And like I said, like going through that ACL recovery, I could have kind of turned to away from him and asked him like, why is this happening to me? But I feel like I really went into him. He was like my best friend during that time in my life. So I just know God's plan is bigger than my own, and I feel like when I trusted him, he's put the best things in front of me. So couldn't do my journey without him for sure.
Yeah, those are amazing stories. Having an ACL injury and then coming back and, being one of the doubted teams in the tournament and then winning it. Like those are amazing stories that build character that build like, great character development, That deserves like a documentary for sure. Come on.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
but transitioning to the best part of the interview, our Manchester United part. So,
For sure.
you
Let's
know,
go.
what every single Manchester United fan wants to know is like how they started supporting because, this club has a very long history. So, what got you hooked on United in the first place?
Yeah, I actually got hooked on Manchester United because of my dad. Growing up, he's been such a huge United fan for as long as I can remember. And growing up, me and my older brother always would watch games together. It's just kind of been a family thing. Like United runs in our blood at this point.
You're so lucky because my older brother's a Liverpool supporter,
Oh
so I have to keep
dang,
up with his
dang,
comments
I'm
every single
sorry.
week.
I'm sorry about that. That's got to be brutal. But
No.
I feel like I just remember being little and hearing him talk about the team with so much passion. Like I wanted to be right on that roller coaster ride with him. So like I said at the beginning, it's been hard at times. You kind of want to switch teams a little bit, but we've stayed true. And after every game, after and during every game, me, my brother, and my dad are always texting. So it's been fun, and I always look forward to our Premier League Sundays.
Let's go. That's awesome to have that f familiar bond in the family being United supporters. I wish I could trade places with you. Only if it were that easy. Was
Literally.
when I watched one of BYU's games back in the 2023 season, if I'm not mistaken. I remember when you scored against UCLA, you did Marcus Rashford's celebration. Was there like, is that like your particular player that made you fall in love with the club, or Ronaldo or Rooney?
Yeah, I feel like there are definitely certain players who made me fall in love with United. Obviously, looking at Ronaldo, I'm a big Ronaldo fan. David Beckham, I love David Beckham.
Who doesn't?
But I feel like what really kind of switched me is Marcus Rashford. I'm a big fan of Rashy. Wish he was still at Manchester United, but I just really love his story coming up through the academy, staying true to himself through all his adversity, and just like always playing with pride. I always loved watching him. And especially that first year, he kind of got famous, scoring those goals. Just I've been a fan ever since, and yeah, I do. I always do Marcus Rashford sellies when we're playing UCLA because I had to. You know, you have to pull it out. I was
Yeah.
going to show you my Marcus Rashford.
Oh, is that the
You can see
scarf?
it. Yeah, let me grab it for you. Here we go. We got this one, Marcus Rashford.
He scores when he.
Tough.
I love that. So
Yep.
did you get those like at games or
So when this one, let's see, just Manchester United, and this rashy one, I guess it's upside down, but my
hmm
boy, um, I got two of them. I was lucky enough for my birthday to go to England for the FA Cup final at Wembley when they played City and
Oh,
won.
so lucky.
So
What a
that was
game.
probably my best birthday ever. But yeah, I went with a few teammates. But I got two of them there, and then my dad, he went to a game and got me one, and then another one's up there. My dad went to a U.S. game and got me one. So
That's so sick. I'm so jealous. You probably have more merch than I do from England. So.
oh, whatever.
Here's like a very big talking point that's been happening this season so far between, lots of fans and different opinions on Ruben Amrin. What do you think of his start so far, being a year in?
Yeah, I think Ruben Amarin's start has been promising overall. I feel like it definitely was shaky at first when he came in. And I'll be honest, like the whole situation with Marcus Rashford really frustrated me because, like I said, I'm a big Rashy fan. So I feel like there was just a lot of tension and uncertainty that we didn't kind of know about. Um, but I feel like watching the last few Prem games, these last few weeks, I've actually been super encouraged. I feel like they're finally starting to click. They're finding more confidence, being more attacking minded, and obviously not having Onana, thank goodness, um, has been huge. So I feel like he's pushing for a more attacking, energetic style, which has been fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's seeing like what he's doing at Sporting is looking like what we're seeing right
Fine,
now at United.
finally working.
Yeah, fun, aggressive football, like, the football that we saw when he played against Manchester City in the Champions League last season, and they won 4-1. So hopefully he can keep it up. I mean, I honestly still have my doubts, but I'm leaning more towards the optimistic side right now.
That's
Because
how I am. I'm trying to
being,
stay positive
yep, being 5 games unbeaten, that's definitely a positive for sure.
for
Um,
sure.
so for one of the last few questions that I want to ask you, Ellie, if you could add one BYU teammate to United's
Oof.
current starting 11, who do you think would fit the best?
Oh man, if if Brecken Mazinga was still on the team, she's a senior. She plays at the Utah Royals, but if she was still here, I'd definitely say her. Very good flank player, beats people 1v1. But if I had to say a current player, I would probably say Izzy Stratton. She's one of our center backs.
Yeah, she's got the height
So
for sure.
the height, she could be perfect with Maguire back there. Um, I feel like just she has super good creativity, composure on the ball, and she reads the game very well. So I feel like it would fit perfectly with United's back line and hopefully keep balls out of the goal. So
Absolutely. And she could definitely fit in that Manchester United women's starting 11 for sure as well.
for sure.
Yeah, big win for them today against PSG.
I know that
And
was awesome.
and the last question, to end off, 11 questions with Drew 11. As both an athlete and a fan, what do you think sets Manchester United apart from every other club in the world?
Ooh, deep. I feel like what sets them apart is the standard of excellence of wearing that badge means. I feel like it's a club that's really built on history and passion, I think. I feel like there's a sense of pride and expectation that you have to have wearing Manchester United red. And you have to push yourself and give your all every single time. And I feel like as an athlete, like that's something I really connect with is the idea of never giving up and striving for excellence is something I hold myself very high on. So, um, yeah, I think just having that standard of excellence and holding yourself to that such high standard is what sets Manchester United apart.
Ellie, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here and for your testimony, your thoughts, and just showing why you are, one of the biggest talked about college women athletes in the world.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me. It's always fun to kind of share my story and hopefully it can inspire other people, other little girls. So, yeah, I just appreciate it and I hope Manchester United keeps going this season.
Yep, top four is a must for sure. All right, Ellie, good luck in the tournament as well. Represent the state of Utah and BYU, and we'll keep an eye out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. You take care.